Hello and welcome to another episode of Behind the Sofa, or Out from Behind the Sofa. And today we're at various places, including Bournemouth Film and Comic Con. This episode will see us at places, but here we are at Bournemouth Film and Comic Con. It's a good day for all. Hi there, you saw the little introduction at the beginning, but just to give you some info, this is Behind the Sofa, Out from Behind the Sofa, episode 3. We haven't done a normal Behind the Sofa for a long time. I'm Lewis Moon. I am the person who's probably in charge of this channel. Now I've got Mark Freak Super Geek himself here, aka D-Cool, chatting with me, who's also the co-host of the Doctor Who Time and Space podcast and Behind the Sofa, and works with me a lot on the channel.
It's a pleasure to be here,
yes,
as always.
Because you're always here.
Because I'm always here.
For some reason.
And we're in my studio.
Yes, we are.
Or my house, I should say.
Yeah.
House
that
slash
sort
studio.
of ruined it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? People have probably got this, they probably listen to this and they think, this podcast is just of such fine quality, it must be recorded in a luxurious studio somewhere out in the middle of the country. But no.
So we're two podcasters, or vidcasters, or two big Doctor Who fans, and we've been out and about doing stuff Doctor Who related, sci-fi related, and today's video is going to chat about stuff we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. The major thing, which we're going to start with this episode, is this September's Bournemouth Film and Comic Con, which we went to. We'll talk about that in a sec, as well as our trip to Cardiff, which saw us visit loads of Doctor Who locations and Doctor Who themed stuff, including the Doctor Who experience, which if you're going to Cardiff and you're a Doctor Who fan, you have to go to that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, should we kick off then with the Film and Comic Con?
Yes, okay. So it's the second Bournemouth Comic Con in 2016.
Yeah. Actually, what was I going to say? I had some great words of wisdom and it's completely gone out of my head. Carry on talking. It'll come back to me.
Not as many guests, but there were still a few Doctor Who ones.
No doctors this time round, was there?
Yeah, do you want me to say who they are?
Yeah.
So, we have Deborah Watling, who played Victoria. Peter Purves, who played Stephen. Those are in the second and first Doctors. Richard Franklin, who played Mike Yates. And David Gooderson, who played Davros in Destiny of the Daleks.
Yeah. I mean, there were a few others as well, weren't there? I mean, you also had Donald Sumpter, who has been in Doctor Who a few times, 3 times?
Yeah.
3 times.
And in Sarah Jane Adventures as well.
Right, yeah. So he was there. Probably there more so in his capacity as the Meister from Game of Thrones. But we also... there was a couple of people as well that I can't remember their names off, to be fair, but there was a few other actors that have been in New Who episodes, wasn't there?
There were, yeah.
I can't remember their names, but you did tell me what episodes they've been in, but I've forgotten now. Do you remember?
Who? Oh.
There's 2 guys sat together, weren't they, who weren't there because of Doctor Who, but it said on their poster Doctor Who, and I went...
Yeah, I can't remember what they was called. There was guys from the Satan Pit and Impossible Planet. Can't remember who the other guy was.
Yeah.
But I remember him.
Okay.
And I forgot him now.
I mean, it was a bit different from last time, wasn't it? Because when we went in, was it February last year?
March
last year.
So we did a video then, and
yeah.
you can see that video. It's got a picture of me and Jem Redgrave on that. So
yeah,
if you want to see the video, that's what the picture will look like.
I mean, last time when they had a film Comic-Con, they actually pretty much took over the BIC, didn't they? I mean, it was on 2 floors. Whereas this time,
it's massive. Last time,
this time it was just on the 1 floor. Other than they had a sort of cosplay area at the top of the escalators.
Do you think they'll stick like that in the future, or?
I actually thought the layout was pretty good. Actually,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah.
I thought the layout was pretty good. I mean, it felt, because they had condensed it felt perhaps busier.
Yeah. Well, I actually preferred the format last time because it was spread over 2 floors. It was good to have like the first floor dedicated to merchandise and the top floor dedicated to guests and talks and cosplay and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. It was like that, wasn't it, last time? I mean, as you said just a minute ago, there definitely weren't as many guests this time around, were there? I mean,
no, there weren't.
Who-wise, there was a number.
Yeah, there were quite good Doctor Who-wise, but if you're a fan of other things, I mean, you know, a few Star Wars guests, you know, a couple of Game of Thrones guests spread across the days.
Yeah, and we went on the Sunday, didn't we?
Yes.
So actually, if you'd gone the previous day, there wasn't any Doctor Who people, was there?
No. Don Sumpter was there.
Donald Sumpter was there, and Jacqueline Pearce from Blake
Jacqueline
7.
Pearce.
So
it was only in one story, so.
Yeah. So definitely Sunday was the right day for you. But yeah, so it was on the 1 floor, but they up in the where the escalator takes you, they did have a little cosplay area which we paid a visit to at one point. We'll come on to that in a minute. So first of all, you said that downstairs they had the merchandise area.
Yeah.
What merch did you buy?
So, we've got two autographs, so we'll talk about that later on. Also, the Smiler figure from The Beast Below, and Star Wars related, a pop Funko figure of Jabba the Hutt. Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Displayed alongside my other Doctor Who, Star Wars, and Guardians of the Galaxy pop vinyls.
There's so many of them now, isn't it? The pop vinyls. What I was gutted by, I had my eyes on. I made that big mistake, really, which is when you see something, you should buy it there and then.
Remember the rocking horse? Apparently.
I had my eyes on a Dastardly and Muttley, 2 pop heads, and I come to the decision, because they also had quite a good deal on at this particular store, where if you bought 3, you got 3 for the price of 2, and I thought I could get Dick Dastardly and Muttley, and I could get Lewis Jabba the Hutt one, and we'll get them at a really bargain price. But firstly, they didn't have Jabba the Hutt at that one anyway, did they? But also, when we went back, alas, Muttley had gone, so we only had Dick Dastardly there, so scuppered again. Oh, you peskies. So that was the purchases. What did you make of the merch bit, full stop, in comparison?
I mean, the merch bit's always good at these Comic Cons. Yeah. I thought it was relatively good. I mean, this time I noticed it was you who pointed it out, but there were no DVDs there. No,
that's true. Yeah.
But you know, it's quite good merchandise, better than most places, I'd say.
I think the thing is, because of the fact that we'd been to the big London one, we'd been to Cardiff, you'd done a lot of purchases of merch that you really wanted anyway, hadn't you, over a sort of fairly close period of time. So,
the London Comic Con, I knew it would seem disappointing to the London one, but this day was still a really enjoyable day.
It was. So, in terms of signings, did you want to talk about the first signing that we went to?
The first signing we went to was Peter Purves, who played Stephen in the first Doctor's era. Really nice guy. You may know him also from Blue Peter. Yeah. Really nice guy. Really nice.
I don't think I've actually watched any episodes with Stephen in. I've seen clips, some little clips. But...
No, you haven't. I've watched a few.
Well, obviously a lot of them are deleted again, aren't they?
Yes, most of them.
Was he in one series?
One
Series season? What phrase do we use? Series, isn't it? Back in those days?
Yeah, I think it was, but it had quite a lot of episodes in it.
Yeah.
It had about 10 in it, I think, that series.
Okay. I mean, he was a really lovely guy, actually, wasn't he? I really enjoyed talking to him.
Me too.
He talked a little about his favourite episode, but perhaps we'll come on to that a little bit later, because he also talked about that during.
But we got on the exclusive earlier on.
We did, yeah. And he also talked a bit about well, we sort of said to him about how a shame it was that the number of missing episodes that there were, and he sort of agreed really about how it sort of seems criminal now when you look at it that they'd sort of wiped all those episodes. But that then brought us on to talking about the audios.
Yes, and we said that we've been enjoying listening to the audios at that point. Yeah,
I think he sort of was talking a little bit about because. What was the episode I know, so we'll talk about it later, but what was the episode he said was his favourite?
The Massacre was his favourite.
That's it. And he was saying about how the only thing that's remaining of that, and in fact a lot of the missing episodes now, are the audios, because there was some guy that had painstakingly taped the episodes onto a cassette when they were first broadcast, and that's now what they've been using to sort of bring some of these things back to life.
Is that what they use for animated episodes?
I gather it probably is, yeah. And whether it's the same person's ones or other ones that people have got, but it just makes you glad that person actually taped them. Do you know, funny that I used to do that a lot in the old days. I used to just tape things off the telly, yeah.
So should we move on to what happened next, or?
Yeah, so after we'd spoken to Peter, where did we go next?
We had the spot of lunch and watched
what we could describe as an excruciating cosplay blind date.
Yeah, we didn't get to watch the lip sync battle in the end.
Did we? No.
But that bit's always cringy in the cosplay bit. But I like the cosplay masquerades.
Yeah.
But I do not like these filler materials.
No.
But I suppose they're quite good when you don't know what to do at a part. But we try to avoid them.
We do, don't we? But what is that? It's good fun looking full stop at people in cosplay, isn't it? I love actually seeing all the costumes and everything. I think that's brilliant. But we actually noticed it, didn't we? There wasn't this time round. There were no Tom Bakers.
No, I know.
Other than yourself.
Shocking. Yeah, which kind of.
Yeah.
So.
Do you want, just before we go on to that? I know we're going to talk about Cardiff a little bit later on, but one of the things we bought in Cardiff were our get-ups for Bournemouth Comic Con.
Well, this episode we need to keep relatively short, don't we?
Yeah.
So
we won't waffle too much.
Maybe we should say. Maybe we should talk mainly about Bournemouth in this one, and then you could listen to the beginning of this week's podcast for more about Cardiff. Yeah. But we'll talk about the main bits of Cardiff.
Yeah. Okay. No, that sounds fine.
And we'll talk more about Cardiff on the podcast.
Yeah.
So
we when we were in Cardiff, we'll come back to Cardiff a little bit later. We bought some T-shirts from the Doctor Who Experience for our Bournemouth Film and Comic Con one. I got a nice T-shirt with Paul McGann's costume on it,
and I got Tom Baker's costume on it. So very nice.
So that was the closest it came to any Tom Baker cosplay.
Deborah Watling was our next guest that we met.
Yeah.
Really, really nice again.
So she played Victoria, yeah?
Yes.
From the Patrick Troughton era.
So, Decal here said that I was a walking encyclopedia, a Doctor Who encyclopedia, and she did a little test for me, and she did agree with that statement.
She did indeed, yeah. She did flummox us a little bit, didn't she? Because she'd asked about the males that had been sort of companions to Peter Davidson, and you answered with their the character names, didn't you? You said Adric and Turlo, and she looked really blank for a few minutes, didn't she?
Yeah.
And then she realised what you're doing.
Just read on a little bit.
And but what she was actually looking for was the actors' names, which you then kindly told her.
Yes.
So you passed.
So we talked a bit about the podcast and stuff.
Yeah, I think she was quite impressed by that actually.
Yeah, nice of her.
Yeah. Her favourite... Well, we talked about favourite episodes in general, didn't we?
Yeah, so, her favourite was... That's not even hers! Right, her favourite was Fury from the Deep.
Yeah.
She liked how she defeated the monster with the scream.
Yeah.
Sedar's was, as Decal writes, Invasion. Tomb of the Cybermen, Dad. Tomb of the Cybermen. Let's change
I hadn't actually written that down. Well, what Lewis is laughing about is or I should say, I wrote down some scrappy notes to prompt our discussion today, and I've, in true Decal fashion, I've written the wrong episode down for Lewis's favourite.
It's not even hers. That's Zoe.
Yeah, but I'm not the walking Doctor Who encyclopedia.
Yeah, and Enemy of the World was Decal's favourite.
We talked a bit about that with her, didn't we? Enemy of the World, because she was saying about how great Patrick Troughton was in that episode, and in terms of playing both characters, and I love how he does that as well. It's brilliant. But it was touching full stop, I think, the way she talked about Patrick Troughton, wasn't it? You could see that she really, really admired Patrick. So
she was very nice. We could have chatted to her for ages, and she did.
Yeah. She could talk for England actually. If we got her on as a guest for the podcast, I'm not sure we'd actually we'd have time for ourselves on there. But she was really lovely. Really lovely.
Well, we'd just do a special episode. No. Big queue behind us though.
There was, wasn't there? That's how long we were
gathering
talking.
whilst that was happening. Yeah. Talks, man. Talks.
Always a really good part of the Comic Cons, I think, are the talks. And we went to about 2.5, didn't we?
Yeah, 2.5. We watched a tiny bit of the first one, which was Roy Scammel, who was a stuntman on some of the stories in the John Pertwee era, and he did some other classic films. A
lot of James Bond films, I think. Yeah.
And he but no, we arrived near the end and the sound wasn't really good for his, so
it was quite hard to actually make out what was being said, wasn't it?
What did he say then?
I think a bit I can remember was it
was just blah 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 Manning.
He did tell some various stories, and he was talking a bit about how, I'm not sure which episode it was, I'm sure he said that it was involving an episode where Katie Manning is thrown into the Thames or something like that, anyway, whatever, he had to dress up as Katie Manning for this stunt, and then he was there with his sort of high heels on and Joe costume, and some of the other members of the crew persuaded him to go into a pub with them, and so he was sat there in the pub, probably drinking a pint of real ale or something in his full Joe get-up, which is quite funny.
Next up, Don Sumpter, who played Rassilon in Hellbent, Master Lurin in Game of Thrones, and various roles in classical Doctor Who.
Yeah. So he said he was in the Sea Devils, wasn't it?
He was kind of pretending to. He was kind of being a bit deaf in the talk.
Yeah.
He was also in Being Human as well. He stood up the whole time and wouldn't use the mic. So
that was quite funny though, wasn't it? Because he said he's a little bit deaf, and if people were asking questions, there was like a time when he got one of the guys to actually come up onto the stage and read the question out, didn't he? Because he couldn't hear properly. But he had a really good way about him though, I thought. Really
because I'm too young to watch Game of Thrones, I don't know what the heck it means. So can you read? If you want to read any of that.
Yeah, obviously we tend to focus primarily on Who stuff on here, but He is a great character in Game of Thrones. Only in the first 2 seasons, actually, and I was thinking it was more than that. But he said his favourite scene of the lot was the one where he's talking to Theon, who's played by Alfie Allen, and it's the bit where he's trying to persuade Theon that he's been a real fool for taking Winterfell, and it is a really, really great scene. Funny, he talked a bit. Somebody asked him whether or not he liked his death scene, and he said he overacted it a bit. But,
so somebody asked whether he would like to play the Doctor. He jokingly said, "No, it's too much hard work." But he then said it would be a great job. He would give it a go, but probably die on the job.
I was just going back briefly to Game of Thrones again. Somebody was sort of asked him whether he realised quite how big it is. 'Cause, I mean, it's an absolutely huge show now, and he said that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He didn't actually realise it was going to be as big as it was, but it was clear from the outset that it was really good.
Yeah.
Really great scripts and everything. So, sorry, back onto your Doctor Who bits.
He was asked if there were any parts that he would like to revive, and he singled out his appearance in Series 9 finale where he played Rassilon, so he would clearly like to return again in this part. Let's hope so.
Yeah. He's, as we touched on earlier, I mean, he's actually one of the few, I say few, is there anyone else that's actually appeared in both Classic and New Who?
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be an interesting thing to explore, actually. Who has been in both?
One of the Troughton brothers has.
Right, okay.
I can't remember who else. Tom Baker, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think.
Peter Davison, if you include the Children in Need episode.
Oh, yeah.
Or Comic Relief, whichever one it was.
Time Crash. Okay, so with regards to Doctor Who in general, he is a rare person to have appeared. Oh yeah, we said that. He said he liked it better in the classic series as he had hair.
And he did, didn't he? Do you know, to the extent, actually we watched the Sea Devils not that long ago, certainly since I knew who Donald Sumpter was, and I didn't realise it was Donald Sumpter.
Yeah.
But then again, I was a big fan of Being Human as well, and until he mentioned Being Human, I hadn't realised it was him. But he played Kemp in that story. So in the second.
Was he
series,
quite a major part?
Yeah, really major part. But just I guess because I'd watched Being Human before I watched Game of Thrones, so it didn't really occur to me.
Okay, so on to the Doctor Who talk,
main talk for you,
which had Deborah Watling, Victoria. This is in probably like the major of the characters, like order of character preference. Peter Purves, who played Stephen, Richard Franklin, who played Mike Yates, and David Gooderson, who played Davros in Destiny of the Daleks. So representing the first 4 Doctors, it was no surprise that each of them named their Doctor as their favourite one. Particularly nice hearing Deborah's affections for Patrick Troughton.
It was quite funny full stop, wasn't it? Because they went through each other one by one, and so they were sort of sat in from sort of left to right. It was Richard Franklin, David Goodison, Peter Purves, Deborah Watling. So, and it was sort of it's sort of like 3rd Doctor, 4th Doctor, 1st Doctor, 2nd Doctor. Yeah.
Every time Richard Franklin spoke, he stood up, didn't he?
He did actually.
I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad Deborah Watling didn't do that when we were interviewing her. When we were talking to her, she'd be like.
She did stand up to have her photo taken with you, didn't she? And in fact, actually, Peter Purves did as well. They're both really nice like that. Both let you take pictures with them.
As favourite episodes, Deborah said Fury from the Deep. Seaweed Monsters, don't see them for some time until the end of episode 4. But you can hear their heartbeats. She told us that the same story earlier.
Yeah.
What did Peter Purves like?
Peter Purves' favourite episode was Massacre of St Bartholomew, which unfortunately, as with Fury from the Deep, is unfortunately one of the lost ones. But I think what he particularly liked about it, I don't know whether it's rated particularly highly, I don't really know too much about it, but I think the main reason he liked it is because he had quite a main role in this one, because apparently during the filming William Hartnell was quite unwell, so Stephen sort of came to the fore really.
Yeah.
Was quite a sort of primary character. Sorry, you're going to say?
What were you saying?
I was say that he basically, it was quite interesting, wasn't it? Because you don't really like the first Doctor historical episodes very much.
No.
Whereas those were sort of Peter Purves' favourite ones. He didn't really like the monster episodes very much.
So let's start with let's continue with Richard Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Favourite was Planet the Spiders, mainly as he was able to wear normal clothes rather than a unit uniform, he got to choose them himself. His initial reaction was he got the script. Was disappointment as he didn't have many lines, but the action made up for it.
Unsurprisingly, David Gooderson, meanwhile, his favourite episode was Destiny of the Daleks, where he played Davros. Why do you think that might have been his favourite episode?
Because it was the only one he was in.
It was the only one.
Wait, is it by Douglas Adams? Because I swear it isn't. Can I look it up on here?
Yeah.
Can you look it up in the background? Does it not go?
Yeah, you can. You can. The only reason I wrote that down is because I'm sure he said about how great Douglas Adams' script was for Destiny of the Daleks, but it might be I misread that one. But he was sort of saying that it was a really great.
No, Terry Nation.
Oh, Terry Nation one. Okay, but perhaps Douglas Adams had some sort of involvement in it. Maybe
Peter Straker.
Don't know, but yeah, I'm sure that's what he said anyway.
Where did the thing go?
Oh, bottom tab, last tab, that one there.
Oh yeah.
So so that was the one he said, because he said he had a good mix of light and dark, and he was saying about how great it was to work with Tom Baker.
So any good location stories? Both Peter and Deborah said they didn't really get to go on locations, pretty much all filmed live in the studios, and they would have about an hour and a quarter of an hour to film a 20-minute episode.
You can see that actually, can't you? I mean, we watched today, and we'll talk about it in the main podcast, but we watched the Sensorites, and it's you notice far more when you watch these old ones how many stumbles there are over the words that are left in there, because effectively they are filming them pretty much live.
They talked about the difference in filming techniques. Live recording meant they did about 40 episodes a year. In fact, Deborah said her season was 47 eps. A big part of Deborah's life, if only for a year.
David Gooderson, meanwhile, was talking about, when they were talking about location, said that actually the Daleks did get to go on location for him. They went to Swanage, but he didn't get to go with them. He was studio bound.
He never got to in any other stories.
Aww.
Why not, I wonder.
Aww.
Richard Franklin, most unpleasant location was for Claws of Axos, where they were on a stony beach in the middle of January. So cold that they had to refilm some of it.
So, as we said earlier on, they all had their own Doctors as their favourites, but and Richard Franklin was saying that he also, as well as obviously working a fair bit with John Pertwee, he did some work with Tom Baker in the audios.
Peter commented that it was difficult to compare Doctors as they all have something different to offer.
They then got talking a little bit about dimensions in time. Now, I don't think I fully got all of this down, but I remembered that what he did say, what Richard again said, was that at one point that he stalled Bessie much to John
Bessie, as your note said.
Or much to John Pertwee's annoyance.
Deborah talked about running around with a broken arm.
Yeah, and they then sort of brought them on to a question about who their favourite guest stars were. And Peter was saying that actually in the old days, because TV was still in its infancy, a lot of the so-called sort of proper actors didn't really want to be involved in it because they didn't really realise at that point how huge it's going to be. Although he said that actually it started picking up around this sort of period, and all of a sudden TV started taking some sort of prominence.
Peter mentioned Max Adrian, who apparently William Hartnell didn't get on with, Michael Gough in The Celestial Toymaker, and of course Peter Butterworth as the meddling monk.
He's brilliant actually, isn't he?
What?
The meddling monk.
Yeah. You haven't even seen him.
I've only seen the clips.
Oh yeah. You have.
Actually, that's one of the really old ones I would really like to see.
I haven't got it. Sorry. I've seen it, but I haven't got it.
In general, they talked about their love of Big Finish. And what was the one thing that they all kept coming back to that they particularly liked?
The lunch.
Yeah, they did. It came up about 4 or 5 times, didn't it, really? About what a great lunch Big Finish put on. But they talked just generally about how professional the studios were there, how great the sound recording guy was, blah, blah, blah.
Benji Clifford. So,
when they were sort of talking a bit about Big Finish, Deborah said how much she'd enjoyed working with Fraser Hind on them. She was saying about how weird it was hearing Fraser, because he also, as well as playing Jamie, he also plays Patrick Troughton's Doctor. She said if you close your eyes, you can virtually believe it's him. And she gave a little bit of a first notice of something as well, didn't she?
But she was coming. She also revealed she would be doing another Big Finish soon. So that's gossip for you Big Finish fans that didn't go to the Comic-Con. Yeah. You've heard it here first. Deborah Watling is returning to the audios.
I mean, similar to Fraser's role playing Patrick Troughton's Doctor, Peter Purves also said that he did a similar thing for Big Finish where he was playing William Hartnell. So that was interesting.
Yes. Where did we get to? Oh yeah, David Gooderson said that he enjoys them, but makes him sad thinking of Elizabeth Sladen, who first got him into them.
They were asked then whether they would like to come back into Doctor Who, into New Who.
Peter and David said both yes as the Doctor.
Deborah said that maybe she could be the first female Doctor.
And Richard said would love to, but never been asked.
And then the final question, and it went so fast, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Session,
it always does. It always does.
The final question was for them to describe the Doctor in one word.
Peter said eccentric for William Hartnell.
Deborah said that it was impossible to describe Patrick Troughton in one word, but used a couple of things, including quirky, love of life, and bloody good actor.
Richard Franklin said funny for John Pertwee.
And David said something which I can't remember what it was. I'm sure he said something like imballient or something like that. I know it was a word that I hadn't actually heard.
And everyone went, ooh, and someone went, I like that.
Yeah. But, I didn't actually catch exactly what it was he said.
Cosplay entertaining as always. A few Matt Smiths, lots of superheroes, and various Japanese characters that we didn't know who they were. Should we flash some
footage?
Cosplay. Yeah. We may have already flashed some up, but here's a few more.
The always entertaining, I think, the cosplay, because there's some which are really good and some which aren't so good. But what you've got to say is just credit for everybody for getting the courage to do it.
They've all spent a lot of work. I mean, the standard isn't as good as the London one, but there were still some really good cosplays in there, I think.
I think in particular, I guess with the London one, you've got a little bit more of an international thing, so people are coming to positions, especially over to take part in it. But some really, really great stuff. We never did find out who won it, did we?
No, we didn't. We didn't with London either.
No. So maybe if you won the Bournemouth Comic Con cosplay, you should leave a message under this under this video and tell us who you were. And can you remember which one did you think should win? Can you remember off the top of your head?
No, I can't.
I know there was this really great. Again, I assume it must have been something from some Japanese thing, but there was this really tall model with a big white face. I think I took some pictures and you would have done some video footage.
Yeah, I did. I did videos of everyone.
Probably coming up on your screen about now, I would imagine. But I thought that was really good. And then they ended it like they always do with YMCA with everybody up on the stage and cosplay dancing. Man. Including the man with the beard, who's always there, isn't he? He must be one of the cosplay people.
They're always entertaining, these cons, and we'll look forward to the next one whenever it is. The only one confirmed for our diaries is London, the next London Comic Con, which won't be until 28th to the 30th of July. So we're really looking forward for 2017's London Comic Con because last year's was so great. But Bournemouth is yet to be announced, and we'll keep you updated on the podcast and stuff for next year's announcement and if there's going to be another one.
So, very briefly, we'll just touch a little bit on some of the things we did in Cardiff,
If
which
you
was
want
a couple of
to-
days previous to
Yeah,
that.
if you want to hear more about it, check out Doctor Who Time and Space. It'll be episode 176, and that will be dated the 10th of September 2016.
Okay, so Cardiff. I'd been to Cardiff before purely for meetings and things, but
Yeah.
I'd never really been there to explore Cardiff as a location. It was brilliant.
Yeah,
We had a great couple of days,
It was a
didn't
really
we?
good couple of days. Two days.
So we stayed literally right in the centre. We were about sort of a jump away from the train station, the main Cardiff Central train station, and we had two main plans for our trip.
Yeah, and those were to go to the Doctor Who experience and to check out some cool Doctor Who locations. What were those locations then?
Well, they were really close, most of them, weren't
Yeah.
they? The ones, I mean, there's a few others we've looked at today, which we perhaps next time we go we'll check out. But in fact, we did go down some of them, but we hadn't put two and two together. But a lot of the locations were literally within a stone's throw from the hotel. So first of all, we checked out what's now the House of Fraser shop on St Mary's Street.
Yeah.
Can you remember what they filmed there?
So they filmed Rose and the Christmas Invasion.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was the shop that Rose was working in. It was still, we were surprised because it was still standing there,
Yeah,
even
not
though
exploded.
it exploded in the episode.
Nearby Westgate Street, we found the Trap Street from recent episode Face the Raven.
That was cool, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You could see a little gap in there. I was quite tempted to crawl through and see what would happen, but I could see some dustbins in there, and I
Yeah.
thought I might fall in them.
Walked up to Cardiff Castle, used a lot in Torchwood.
Yeah, and then from actually, it was used a hell of a lot in Torchwood. I don't know. I've never seen Torchwood. Was that possibly the Torchwood base or something? Because it seemed to be mentioned in a lot of Torchwood episodes. from what I
Really?
could see.
Don't know. Doctor Who, Rebel Flesh and the Almost People it was also used in, and the Snowmen.
Yeah, I mean, in particular, I think for the Rebel Flesh Almost People, the tunnels underneath, which are really cool, actually, weren't they? The tunnels underneath it. I think they used that as part of the monastery sort of bit.
Sarah Jane location it was as well. I've the Gorgon.
And then, so I mean, Cardiff Castle, beautiful. Loved
Yeah,
it in there. We
beautiful
walked
place
around
to
the castle. We walked around the grounds. We walked into the old house. Lovely old house, actually, wasn't it? Really, really, really enjoyed Cardiff Castle.
Lots of Torchwood sets like Caroline Street, which we had on Nando's there.
Yeah, tasty.
Day 2, Doctor Who experience.
Yeah. So we got there quite early, mainly because we didn't know the way. So we were getting a bus and everything. So we got there probably about an hour or so before it opened. So we walked around a little bit, walked up to the nearby studios where they do a lot of the filming. But alas, no sign of Capaldi.
Aww. Great interactive session, well, definitely decals. Probably mine. Highlight was the costumes in display.
There's such a wide variety of them, wasn't there? Because they sort of ranged from a lot of classic Who costumes, right through to the modern stuff.
The Series 9 one is great. It's one of the most recent ones. They've got Davros from Magician's Apprentice. They've got the new Zygons. They've got the Fisher King. They've got the Veil.
Yeah.
They've got all sorts of really cool monsters there.
Yeah. I'll tell you what else I really, really loved. Was they had a number of the TARDIS consoles, and they just looked great, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
We took some really great pictures.
Yeah,
during
and we'll
the,
flash them
these-
up at this
Yeah,
moment.
they're probably flashing up as we speak. There was something else I was thinking of around the exhibition hall. That I mean, there was a lot of costumes there,
The
wasn't there?
Foretold was great.
Yeah, Foretold was a really good one, wasn't it? But they also had a lot of the costumes there, and some of them they had like a little set. So the Face the Raven bit, they had the little set, didn't they? Which was quite nice.
So there was also a great display of Target covers on the way out,
Yeah,
and a great shop as well.
yeah. So I mean, a really great day out. Definitely recommend the Doctor Who experience,
Yeah,
regardless of your age. I mean, the interactive bit is aimed primarily at children, isn't it?
yeah.
And we've deliberately not really talked too much about the adventure because we don't want to spoil that for anyone that goes. But
It was good. It was a good day out. Good
Yeah.
day out.
Yeah.
And it went really quick. It went like
Did.
that. Warning everyone. It goes really quick.
How long do you reckon we were there? It was an hour and a half to 2 hours, wasn't it?
It's about 2 hours, I'd say.
It didn't
And
feel
it
that
seemed
long.
like 1 second.
So, good little shop there as well.
Yeah.
What were the Lewis Moon purchases from the Doctor Who Experience
We
shop?
brought the River Song. Why have you put pop heads? I didn't buy a pop
Did you not
head.
buy a pop head in there?
It's because I buy a pop head like everywhere.
Yeah, it's
so.
probably a good guess,
I bought the Survival DVD, which I'm saving up till a day when I'm going to be on my own for about the duration of that episode. So I'll be watching that, and a figure of River Song, and our T-shirts, of course, that we talked about earlier.
So, all in all, Cardiff. To me, Cardiff is a must for Who fans. Just generally, even if the Doctor Who Experience wasn't there,
Yeah.
I would still say
yeah.
it's just such a great place to
It's
go.
a great place to go. It's a great day out. You're lucky if you live there, and yeah, the Doctor Who Experience is great. Lots of locations. If you're a Doctor Who, Torchwood, anything Doctor Who related fan, or just anyone in particular, just go. It's a great place to go. Great, a different place for us, because both of us have never properly looked around before.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed us sharing our experiences of the Doctor Who Experience and other things.
It's been quite long. Hopefully we haven't bored you, but...
And if we haven't bored you this time, hopefully you'll listen to our next Outbeat from Behind the Sofa when we record one next time, which will probably be one of the Comic Cons, I would imagine.
Yeah, if Bournemouth is before London, but London could possibly be the next one.
It could be.
Or it could, I mean, if we go to... We probably need to do a shorter Behind the Sofa, maybe just a short video on the channel about our trips to London full stop, and just the location trip there.
Because we have got some footage from a few London trips we've done, which we've not shared with anyone.
So
yet,
maybe that'll be our next out from Behind the Sofa.
Yeah,
but now we'll try and get Behind the Sofa back for you soon.
Yeah.
For a couple more.
So thanks so much for listening to us.
Thank
I'm
you.
Cool.
And I'm Lewis Moon.
And we shall see you soon.
We will see you next time.
Yep.
Same time.
Same space.
Goodbye. 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 Thank you for watching Behind the Sofa. Make sure to subscribe for more Doctor Who videos and lots more. We will be back for another video soon. So, keep watching, keep subscribing, and keep loving Who. Goodbye!